Kris here, Doom Telly, episode 100. And I'm back, finally. Yeah, same old excuses, quite honestly. Just no time to do these videos at present, but busy. So, yeah, one of them. But anyway, I finally found some time. So, yeah, let's crack on with it. So, I've not done an update in a fucking age. So, Doom Telly updates. Where do I begin? Right, GODTHRYMM. Yeah, we're in the throes of drum tracks back, getting the guitars tracked, vocals tracked, keys tracked, and stuff. We're getting close to the end of the next album. So, but yeah, it's been mighty busy. In between all that, we've been rehearsing for our next gig coming up at the Greyston Unity in Halifax, Saturday, 18th of October. Get your tickets, come and see us at that. It should be a cracking night. It's the sort of end weekend of the Halifax Words and Music Festival or something. It's something that's going on all week in Halifax anyway, but we're on the Saturday night, Greyston Unity. If I remember, I'll put a link to tickets down below. It's all over my socials anyway, so get yourself to that. So yes, besides all the writing and stuff, that has been the bulk of what we've been going on with GODTHRYMM. Green Sabre, quiet. We are, don't worry, we're still going in the background, and I do have a rehearsal coming up shortly. It's one of them where through work commitments for a couple of us, it's meant that we've got more limited weekends now that we can get together, and over the summer, of course, people have got holidays and stuff, so we're now looking at we only rehearse once a month now anyway, but we're writing in earnest to get the recording done. I do provisionally have some dates booked back in the studio early 2026. I will not be delaying these this time. We will have new material out in 2026. So yeah, but just it's been near impossible to get together at the moment. What with other things and stuff, like I say, I've been proper busy with GODTHRYMM of late. My work has been absolutely mental. The 6 weeks fucking school holidays as well eats into what available time I've had recently. So yeah, and so with all of that, just getting these fucking videos done has been hard enough. As you can tell, I mean, Christ, it's been well over a month, hasn't it? Episode 100 should have happened ages ago, but it hasn't, and here it is. So yeah, that's the GODTHRYMM, that's a Green Sabre update. CROWSBLOOD update. We are working behind the scenes on getting an official release on our new album. It's all mixed, it's all mastered, it's all ready to get out to you good people. We've just been in conversations about who's going to put it out for us, and we've had a breakthrough on that front anyway. So, sooner rather than later, you will see the CROWSBLOOD album that will be called Golgotha. 7 tracks, only about 35 minutes. It's death metal. It's black and death metal. Don't piss around. We don't need hours and hours of music. 7 songs, 35 minutes. I can't wait for you to hear it. We've been sat on this for several months now as such. And like I say, we could have put it out, but we're trying to build up the mystique. We will not be a heavy gigging band. I need to announce that now as such. Like, when we gig, it will be for absolute quality over quantity. We will not be a band that you are going to see live regularly in any way, shape or form. It will be very rare when we do it as such, because it's all part of the build-up. It's all part of the atmos as such. And that is essentially what's been informing our decisions on release of this stuff. We wanted to get that absolutely right as well, which I think, without saying any more, I think we have got right. So anyway, watch this space. So those are the band updates. Right, video, and I will try not to be long because it's quite a detailed video that I've got notes for. Jake's Metal Chat. Recently, I say recently, about 2 months ago, and I've probably missed deadline on this one if I'm not careful. But anyway, I'm doing the fucking video now anyway. Jake's Metal Chat got and has surpassed 800 subs, so shout out Jake. A great channel, and I thought there's some nice questions in here, so I'm going to have a go. So without further ado, let's crack on. So he had, for his 800 subs extravaganza, there were 7 questions. Well, I'm saying there were 7, that's all I've taken a note of, so if I've missed any, my apologies. 7 questions, all good. So let's go for it. So here we are, episode 100 of Green Sabre's Doom Telly. Was only fitting that Jake's Metal Chat 800 subs comp is the 100th video. So question 1 from Jake was, should have put my tinted respectables on. First ever album that I bought. Well, I don't have it on me anymore, and I will insert an image, but I seem to recall the first album that I, with my pocket money, went and actually purchased. Yeah, I had hand-me-downs and cast-offs, like I'd been handed down the No Sleep Till Hammersmith Motorhead cassette when we were kids, so I had that. Various other hand-me-downs of like Ian Dury singles and various other stuff. But this was the first one that I recall getting my pocket money and going to our price or whatever it was, and buying. And it was inserted U2's Rattle and Hum on cassette. I don't have that anymore on any physical format. I don't own any U2 anymore on any physical format, but I would own 2 of them. But anyway, we're not talking about it. This was just to mention that was, as I recall, the first thing I ever purchased with my own money. But let's talk about the metal ones. And the first metal purchases that I made with my own money were Maiden. Like I say, I'd got into Guns N' Roses and Def Leppard and Van Halen and all that shit that was sort of around at the time. The stuff that, because I didn't really have a frame of reference, that was the stuff that was on the chart show, on the metal charts, like with fucking Casey Kasem or whatever he was called and whatnot. So those were the ones that I had easy access to, and was given like TDK's blank cassettes, or cassettes where somebody had just put like compilations of stuff on for me, and that was the only stuff that we had, really, kind of like comp tapes or stuff that we'd recorded off the fucking radio when the rock songs came on. And then all that changed. I've told the story 1,000 times, but all that changed with a mate at high school that said, get that in your ears. And he'd done me a 90-minute of Iron Maiden's Live After Death. I was hooked and my world changed from that point onwards. But the first purchases that I made were, I can't remember, it was one of these 2. I think it was that one, but they happened very, very close by. Not these actual ones, sadly. No, they were both bought on audio cassette, because I bought cassette at first when I first started collecting. I didn't have a vinyl player, certainly didn't have a CD player. Not made of money. But yeah, I feel like it was that, because I think that was on offer on cassette for $2.99. So I went in, and after having heard Live After Death, this was a little bit of a hard sell at first, because of course it's Paul Di'Anno singing on it. This has since become arguably my favourite Maiden record of all time. It is, of course, Killers, Iron Maiden. But yeah, a cassette version of that. And like I say, it was either that or this. Now, this, at the time, was the current Maiden album, because it'll have been back end of 1988 that my mate gave me that Maiden tape, or sometime in 1988 anyway, as such. So this was the current album. And even on cassette, this will have been a bit more. It was either $4.99 or possibly even $5.99, which is obscene, right, kids? You know, for way back when. But anyway, it was one of those 2. So let's just say those 2 for the sake of argument. But yeah, my first ever purchases were Maiden classics, and they're both top 3 Maiden for me, those records. But anyway, so that answered question 1. Question 2, albums that I love that I think more people should know about, or should get much more fanfare than they do. And again, I feel like I've mentioned both these on older videos, but the first one I'm going to mention is this. It is a California band called Mountaineer, and this is their second full length, I'm going to say, but they've had 2 others since. Now, I say full length with a pinch of salt, because when Mountaineer do a full length, they're generally kind of elaborate EPs, I would go so far as to say. They're not long albums, and I don't have a problem with that at all. You get that used to albums going on for fucking ever these days. But anyway, I want to say this is their second full length. It's called Bloodletting, and it is absolutely fantastic. Like I say, I've championed this on previous videos. It is doom metal with a very, very clear kind of shoegaze vibe to it, with hints of Deftones thrown in. There's absolutely tons of melody in here, and they're really firing on all cylinders on this album in particular. They're good. I like all their stuff, but they have never hit a high like this album for me. Absolutely fantastic. There was only a really, really limited press of these records. I got it direct off their Bandcamp. And I feel like, it says limited edition 2 LP, blah, blah. I feel like there was only 100 or 200 of these pressed, so I think you'll be hard pressed to get hold of a copy of this now. But yeah, Mountaineer, California, Doom, Shoegaze, Deftone, melody all over the place. Absolutely stunning, stunning album, Bloodletting. And more of you should know about this, because Christ, if you watch my videos, I've been banging on about that on several occasions. Another one I've been banging on about, and it's an album that I only discovered. We did a gig with a band called Kill the Witch in Bradford a couple of years back, and they did some promo videos for it, and they used one of these bands. I thought it was Kill the Witch at first, like, shit, these are good, they're amazing. They're a good band, by the way. But anyway, they used this particular band as part of the promo footage, and I thought, what is that song? I found out more about it, like, it is a since folded, in fact, they've been split up for about 7-8 years now, I'm going to say, something along that. French psychedelic doom band, I'm going to say, called Huata. Huata. So pronounce that however you will. Huata, I'm going to say, though, just to sound exotic. This album is absolutely stunning. It is called, hang on, it's got a really complicated name, Lux Initium Terrae, or something like that, something in Latin anyway. And a long and dull story short, but it is crushing doom that has a very distinct stonery vibe in places, but really, really death-like slow, but with real obvious psychedelic leanings to it. And I say this, it's almost my perfect album, and something that when I started Green Sabre was the vision that I had with what I wanted to do with them. The idea when I started Green Sabre was to do an album that sounded like Cathedral's Forest of Equilibrium meets Wish You Were Here or Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. That was the vibe I was going for, and I think they capture that on this. There are some massive, the two sprawling tracks, like the first track, the mystical, I can't remember, fucking something or other, the mystical something or other, the opening track, like 15 minutes sprawling, massive, epic, amazing. And the last track, that's name escapes me, something like Third Eye Nation, I think it's called. Can't read it because it's all in fancy font that I can't see. But just, wow. If you like your doom metal ultra slow, ultra heavy, ultra sludgy, and then would like some really ambient soundscapey Pink Floydness thrown over the top of it, then look no further. It's fucking magnificent. So yeah, my two albums that more you should know about, Huata and Mountaineer. Bloodletting by Mountaineer, Lux Initium Terrae, or whatever the fuck it's called, by Huata. Check them out. Okay, question 3, because my rattling through has fallen off a cliff as per usual. Okay, gigs or festivals that I love or want to go to, was question 3. And yeah, obviously, Damnation. I love that festival, and we've now kind of like made it a CROWSBLOOD day out, or for this year, 2 days out. This year only, hopefully, because if Damnation are watching, which they're not, don't get used to 2 days, fuck's sake. 1 day was difficult enough on my 50-year-old back and knackered knees and so on and so forth. I don't need another weekender. But yeah, so Damnation, like I say, it's become a bit of a CROWSBLOOD night out, or day out as that. And yeah, it's always a decent lineup. It's always good crack. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Yeah, I did prefer it when it was at Leeds. It just felt a little, it feels like, I mean, don't get me wrong, BEC in Manchester is a vastly superior venue for this festival. It's bigger, it's bolder, it's brighter, it's blah, blah. Well, it's not brighter at all. It's pitch black for the most part. But yeah, it's just a great, great festival, and I love it. And my dream is to play there one day. But as it expands, I think that dream may not be reality. I imagine that the ship has sailed on, getting on there easily. It's something that 5-6 years ago, yeah, I think we stood a fighting chance. Now I'm not so not so sure. But yeah, Damnation, absolutely love it, and I will be going this year. Festivals though that I really, really desperately want to get to, that I haven't to yet. Fortress over in Scarborough. Black metal festival, but always a cracking lineup. it just sits badly, generally, because of the boys, like, holiday time and stuff like that we have to work around. It's right at a weekend where for the last two, I've not been here. So I've been out of the country, so that's been frustrating. So I've not been able to get to it. And last year's lineup was stellar. Ackley, Sonnet, to name a million. Shout out Sean, drums and GODTHRYMM. He was there doing merch for $13.49 for last year. So yeah, I would have liked to have caught up with him there as well. But yeah, it's just not happened. But I do intend to get there at some point. Like I say, weekend at Scarborough. I mean, I'm closer than a lot of people, but it's still, mate, it's not something I can ping back and forth to very quickly. Even from Leeds, it's a fucking arsehole to get out to Scarborough quickly. So it means accommodation and stuff. So it turns into a very, very expensive weekend. But I will do it at some point. And another one that I do promise to get to at some point is the Dead of Winterfest up in Glasgow. Shout out Ken, shout out Kenny, and shout out all the others that I know that are up there organising it. It always looks ace, and the first one I was supposed to be at, and then right up at last minute for a, I think it was a GODTHRYMM related reason actually. Yeah, I couldn't get up there, so I knew I wasn't going to make it last year, and I'm sort of hoping to get up this coming January, but it's not looking great so far out. It's just with it being back end of January, and again up in Glasgow, that's something that's going to require accommodation and travel, and it's something that I need to be able to do quickly. But I do promise to get up there because it looks amazing. They're a great bunch of lads that run it, and yeah, one day I will get up there. So that's my answer to question 3. Question 4. What other videos and channels do I love, and what do I go to on YouTube? I feel like I've answered this recently on a couple of other videos as well, but let me just consult my notes. There's a Leeds United podcast called The Square Ball. It's fan run. It's fantastic. I love it. I am a weekly subscriber to that. I'm a weekly subscriber to the Two Promoters One Pod, the Damnation guy. Well, it's Gavin from Damnation and James from Arctangent 2000 Trees. They're always worth a watch because it's a really good insider view of how the industry works. And I feel like I've learnt loads watching them two talk about how to try and get your name around and get onto festivals and stuff, and the ins and outs, the business fucking side of all this horrible stuff. So yeah, them. I watch a lot of Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders now, which still doesn't sit well with me. Awful that they moved to Las Vegas, but I'm a huge Raiders fan. So I watch a lot of podcasts on that. That's been grim viewing so far, as most of my life as a Raiders fan been fairly grim. I think we've had 3 good seasons in 30. So anyway, but yeah, I've been a Raiders fan for the best part of 40 years. Best part of, yeah. And it's largely been awful, but I love watching that kind of stuff on there. Some reaction videos as well I'm a big fan of, but I need to caveat this by saying informed reaction videos, not this awful shit that it does the rounds where you just basically get someone sat there, I don't know, vaping or something, with a track playing going, fucking hell, oh, that's mad, heavy, fucking hell, not them reaction videos, because they're terrible shit, and who is watching that fucking nonsense? No, reaction, this one, I forget what she's called, but like, sort of classically trained, so she's called Ixie or something, like, the piano, but proper, like, methodically breaks down songs, shows you structures, what, you know, certain, why they go to that key from that key and stuff. It probably bores most people to death, but I find that really, really interesting. Some of these, not all of them, because I think a lot of them are fucking frauds, but like this vocal coaches and all that stuff, there's a lot of them that I don't think know what the fuck they're talking about. They just like singing, so call themselves a vocal coach. But there's odd ones that like sort of review Jeff Buckley stuff and all that I find interesting, because again, you can spot them a mile off, the ones that actually do know what they're talking about. So yeah, I find kind of stuff like that interesting, but yeah. For the most part, I'm a simple human. I just watch lots of the same stuff. And all of you guys, of course. Let's not forget you guys. Yeah, so what was that? Question 4, other vids. Question 5. My favourite from any genre of metal as such. Favourite album from any genre. And I've gone really, really boring with this. So I'm going to do the 4 extreme metal genres. Death, black, doom, thrash. So And you'll have seen all these before. All of you will know I'm not going all kind of like... in fact, I'm making a last-minute decision because I had picked that for my death metal choice of all time. Altars of Madness, Morbid Angel, Morbid Angel's Finest Hour. However, I'm going to change it because I'm more... Purely because I'm sort of more in this sort of... mindset at the moment. But my favourite death metal album of all time is this, Autopsy's Mental Funeral. It's right up there with that though. I can't really separate them, but yeah, this is fucking magnificent. So the greatest death metal album of all time, Autopsy's Mental Funeral, or is it Morbid Angel's Altars of Madness? Anyway, the greatest thrash metal album of all time is this, Ride the Lightning by Metallica. It's my favourite Metallica album, at a push. And the first four are just sublime. I won't have, yes, and Justice for All as well. A great, great album. I love it. And I've got a soft spot for it because that was my entry-level album with them. But, yeah, for guitar tone, probably more pure, straight-up thrash metal, less proggy moments in it than that started creeping in on puppets and stuff. Straight-up thrash, look no further. Greatest thrash album of all time, Metallica's Ride the Lightning. Greatest doom album of all time. I won't go into detail. You've seen this on about 400 of my videos. Cathedrals, Forest of Equilibrium. I think it is the benchmark in doom metal. Yeah, we could argue about doom, sort of saying, well, Trouble's more traditional doom and Sabbath and stuff like that. No, let's not get bogged down in side genres and all that kind of stuff. Straight up, slow, maudlin, crushing doom. Look no further. It is the benchmark. It's 10 out of 10 for everything. Atmosphere, riffs, songs, everything. It's the greatest doom metal album of all time. And black metal, finally. Again, you've seen this before. Emperors in the Night Side Eclipse. It could be argued that it's slightly more kind of like Black and Death in places, but no, again, this is the... For black metal in its kind of purest form, this is the high watermark, certainly of the Norwegian stuff. I don't think anyone did any better than this album, personally. But I'll quickly rattle through them. So then my favourites from 4 genres. Okay, what, besides metal, question 6, sorry, besides metal, what else do I love doing with my spare time and stuff? Well, I mean, besides listening to metal and stuff, but creating it, the creative side is massive to me, and that's why I've got like 1,500 bands on the go, because it is that creative part of it that's my favourite thing about metal music in general. Learning to play guitar was life-changing, life-affirming. It opened up so many avenues, friendships-wise, music-wise, and just learning techniques and stuff. I'm not a soloist, I never will be a soloist, but I concentrated on the rhythm aspect of it as such, which I think plays into that whole doom metal thing. Anyway, it's about, doom metal's more about feel, as you need to be technically good at doing it, but there's more feel involved. So you can't be methodical and textbook with it, because you've got it's about dipping in and out of the timing and stuff. And yeah, the whole creative aspect of it, I absolutely fucking... I love. It's my favourite part about, pardon me, writing new material, going in the studio and recording it. That's my favourite thing about being in bands. I just absolutely love it. Besides that, I'm a Dirty Leeds fan, which has been a curse for the most part, but I'm very passionate. Not as passionate as I used to be, because I do feel at times that the club is doing its best to try and kill me. But so I had to kind of dial back a bit, but I still have a membership. I still try and go to games as much as I can. I've not had any fucking luck this season so far. Tickets have been like gold dust. So there's a part of me hoping that we do start struggling, because then there might be more chance of me getting tickets to go and see them. But, you know, it's a double-edged sword, is that one, isn't it? But yeah, so I'm a massive Leeds fan, massive Raiders fan. This was not a deliberate choice. It was more family. I got into the Raiders, like I say, when I was like 9. I didn't really understand the game at all, but I had families in Los Angeles. They were the Los Angeles Raiders at that point. And that was when I got into them, and I got sort of hooked ever since. And like I say, this was purely by accident. This was not deliberate. The Raiders are kind of the Leeds United of the NFL, as in they were great in the 70s. They're largely shit in modern times, and everyone else hates them. you know, what are the chances? But they felt like a natural fit to me, so I will be Raider Nation until I die, or they kill me, one way or the other. What else am I into? Film. I love film and stuff. Horror, favourite genre, but I like all sorts of stuff, really. Yeah, I'm a big film nerd, and I can tell you sort of like pointless facts about all sorts of fucking obscure stuff, really. But yeah, those are my vices. There's probably obvious stuff that I've forgotten, but anyway. Final question 7. How did I find out about Jake? Well, it was a mutual friends, really. I mean, we're all on the Dead of Winter chat, the exclusive Dead of Winter messenger chat that we've got going with Johnny Mac and Mark G with a C, or whatever his channel's called now, I've forgotten. The Beast, to name many others. We're all on there. We're all on this chat stuff, but Jake's on that as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I know him from on there, and a few mutual friends around the kind of like Southwest scene as well. That I think we've got a couple of mutual friends. So yeah, that is where I know him from. So look, let's try and keep this at under half an hour. So that is my entry to Jake's Metal Chat 800 subs competition. I'll try and get some more of the Doom Telly's hot pants in the shorts and stuff, but like I say, it's just finding time to do a video. It doesn't matter how long it is, be it half hour or 30 seconds. It's still finding that chance to get everything fucking set up in my film lab here that you see before you. And getting them all done. But I've been mithered by friends and family to say, where's your video? I've not seen a video in ages. It's like, all right, I will find time. What the fans want, the fans get. But yeah, anyway, thanks for putting up with me. Thanks for being patient and waiting for videos. I'm waiting for episode 100. I'm sorry it wasn't more grandiose or more fanfare and glitter cannons and whatnot. But yeah, until the next video, which I hope not to be too long off, like this one was. Yeah, until then, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing, and I will see you anon. Toodle pip.